Okay guys, so I've got all of my parts now on the table, just kind of spread out. I'm hoping to piece this thing together here for all of you and it work. We will find out. The CD that it came with, unfortunately, is just a long user manual on how to operate the transmitter. And that's great, but it doesn't tell me what I need to know next, and that's how to piece together a helicopter. So I went to the website that I bought it from, and they do have a lot of pictures. They have a lot of information on the website. And that is the user manual. They use their website as pretty much how to set it up. Also, they claim that any dummy can do this. It's self-explanatory with the numbers piecing it together. So I'm going to take my time. Let's go with the first arm. There's just a few things that can be plugged in here, and then I've got to mount everything. It's pretty clear that this wire here plugs into this wire. I mean, that's fairly self-explanatory. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. One goes into one. But now I've got this extra wire here, and it's only got a couple places that it can be plugged in. It's either going to be here on this bottom section, or it could be up here by this multi-collared clip. I'm going to go check the website and see what it says. I will be right back. Ooh, looks like I've got a bend on my board too. Don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, you can see it. Right there, that last one is bent over. I'm gonna have to try to bend that back. Okay, so I think I've got it. What I want to do now is move my camera to hopefully make this easier to record everything now. I believe it wants us to put it right here. I'll show you again. Right there. Okay, so that's the first of 4. That's 2 of them. At least for the wires. Now let's try to get 3. The big thing is, maybe they just forgot to send me a manual, I don't know. But whatever the reason that I don't have one, maybe you guys out there didn't get one either. So I'm hoping that this will save everybody just a little bit of work and some headache. Let me do the headache stuff for you. Watch my video, give me a thumbs up if it helps, answer any questions, tell me if I did something wrong. I am learning as I put this together. And there's the last arm. That's just the battery connector there. Which kind of looks corroded almost. Well, that's what they sent me. Try to focus on it. There we go. And I'm plugging this into the last little port. Okay. To the best of my knowledge and guessing, that is the way it should be wired up. I've got the arms wired. Now I'm going to try and mount the thing together and figure out what I need to do next. What I'm going to be doing, on all of the images online, they recommend this larger board being on top. So what I have to do is take all of these little screws out here, and I'm going to be working on that and flipping them to the other board here, and I'm going to be taking this circuitry out with the 4 screws on the corners, putting it on the big board so that I can fly inverted with my camera on the bottom. So what I'm going to do now to save you guys some time is work on all of that. Then I'm going to simply, since I'm running low on juice here, I'm going to put all of the little landing pads underneath the arms and try to get this thing pieced together. I will show you guys as I go. This is a very lengthy process to get it the way I want it. It would work the other way, but I've got a feeling that this would work better. I've put on the footies, or the landing pads, whatever you want to call them. But they're on, and it took me forever just to attach these arms. They say 20 to 30 minutes, but not if you want to mount your camera on the bottom. I looked up on Google and YouTube if anybody else had gone through this. Nobody has provided any information on how to mount your camera on the bottom. Probably was pretty easy installation if you were going to put it on top, but if I'm flying it, I do not want to get shots of a big propeller blade. That's pointless. So we're putting it on the bottom as it claims that it can handle on the website. That's the camera mount platform, and I've just put it back onto this platform that shows on the bottom on all the shots on their site. So now I've got all my wiring on the inside. This last thing I did to get a very close shot was just to put these 4 screws in on each arm, and it would have been pretty quick and easy if the factory hadn't messed up one of the arms. One of the holes had a bunch of plastic in it. I had to get an X-Acto knife and dig the plastic out, and that took an extra 15 or 20 minutes for me. So just have extra tools handy when you're doing this kind of stuff. It helps a lot, and just be patient because you're going to run into a lot of problems with this kind of thing. But here we are. Taking a deep breath, got the arms on, and it's starting to look like something. Now I just have to piece together all the electronics. So what I've done now, I know it looks like I've probably gone miles ahead of where we last showed, but we put the electronics on the, I put the electronics right here on the inside, and it's mounted to the bottom, also with the camera mount being on the bottom. And now I'm just taking the platform on top. I've turned it over so the gold poles are on the bottom. And I've got my Velcro here. Make sure you do that first, otherwise you'll have a heck of a time trying to get it up underneath there and through. And I'm just screwing on that top platform. So that's going to take a little bit of time. I've already finger tightened all of those to make sure it would line up, and it does. And that's the step I'm on right now. Okay, that beeping is the sound of my aftermarket charger for the Storm Drone quadcopter, because the one that came with mine was broken. Let's just take the battery off here and we'll go ahead and put it on the Storm Drone. Alright, so here we have the battery. It's nice and charged now, and if you watched my unboxing video, then you know that my charger that came with the Storm Drone was broken. It would just get an error message on the screen. Helipal.com, claimed they would replace it for free, but they never did. Anyway, I got that aftermarket charger for about $65 in a local hobby shop. I'm sure you could find it a lot cheaper online. So this is the Storm Drone quadcopter, completely built and inverted. The reason for this is because, as a personal preference and opinion of my own, I would rather have the camera mounted to the bottom of my quadcopter and have the props out of the view and have the battery on top. HeliPal claimed many times on their site that it was very easy to do this, but in fact it was not very easy to do this, namely because this was my first copter to build. If I had done this before, I would imagine it would have been easy, but still very time consuming, and with no instruction manual made it pretty difficult. So that's why I'm making this video, just to help everybody out. Alright, there it is, completely constructed. It's got the receiver mounted on it now. We've got a battery strapped in. All the arms are bolted in with all four arms are in here. Everything is plugged in and ready to go. This is very important now that I point this out, because it was about 3 months of my time. HeliPal sent me a faulty gyro board. I was in communication with them through email because that's the only way to communicate with HeliPal. And I would, because I'm able to make these YouTube videos and things, I would send them a short video of me working on it, doing exactly what they asked to make sure I didn't, break it or anything. And then I'd wait a couple days for them to respond to it. And after a lot of back and forth, they finally agreed to replacing that part for me. Now I'll go over this in depth more when I do a full review of the Storm Drone, but I really wanted to point that out to everybody in this video because it's extremely important. I had to pay for the shipping, and it took 2.5 months to get this airborne. Another thing I want to point out now is that I will not be using the dome in any of my videos or even flying this, because for one reason that I also pointed out in my other video of the unboxing is that the dome came cracked, and you can see that there pretty well. But also, I just don't see any need for it. It's just added weight, and it doesn't really protect against anything. You shouldn't be flying these in the rain anyway, so yeah, I won't be using the dome. The next thing I'll show you guys very quickly is how to get this started up, as it took me a while to actually figure it out. HeliPal wasn't much help, and mine actually responds differently than what they say it's supposed to do, but it works. Alright, this is the proper order to turn on your helicopter. The very first thing you should always do is, at least on this transmitter, make sure all the switches are in the up position. For me, this is what works. They're in the up position, throttle is down, and that's in the neutral position. Then you turn on your transmitter and you plug in the battery shortly after, so because there's no on-off switch. So this is what we'll do. Show you guys here. Okay, you heard the little startup sequence, and then the transmitter beeps again, and it's ready, but not necessarily ready, because you have to put your throttle on 50%. It says right there, get myself out of the shot. It's about 51, that's close enough. And then this gear switch, you throw down, and when you do that, it locks everything up. It's already locked anyways, but what you're supposed to do is calibrate your joysticks by doing this 2 or 3 times and setting it back into the 50% throttle position, and then throw your switch again and throttle down. Once you do that, you can unlock the throttle, and it is calibrated. And if I give it just a little kick here, you can see that it works just fine. So that is the build video of the Storm Drone quadcopter. I hope that helped you guys out, because I didn't have any help when I was building it, and this being my first quadcopter was kind of difficult to do on my own. So if it helped, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be doing a lot more with the Storm Drone. Thanks a lot for watching.